All right, and we're back. This is episode 75. I had a hiatus. I've been had everything under the sun, keeping me from doing the show in the past few weeks. Everything from plumbing issues to moving. I'm hearing a lot of static. Is that on my end?
I'm doing okay. Let's see
Maybe
here.
it's
Let
just
me
in my
check
head.
it.
Maybe it's just in my headset. Alamo, go ahead. Up.
I was just seeing if that helped.
It's your mic. Whatever. It doesn't.
Okay,
It's not that bad.
move it
Um,
around.
I don't think you can fix it. It might. It just. It's probably something. It's probably like EM. You don't have a fan there, you do?
Now it's all just out the back USB. So, but there's nothing else running. It's none of the chargers. Should be okay.
It's cool.
It's just
Oh yeah. So I've been hearing down the food chain that disclosure is coming, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be the negative Nancy, but I have zero faith in the um, that anything out of the United States government is going to be beneficial to any of us people, any of us who have been in this for like long time. Um, and to be quite frank, I don't know if there will be any aha, or we know more than we did before after this stuff comes out. You know, I just don't. I mean, Alamo, do you really think anything's going to come out of these videos, 47 videos?
oh, they're dumping videos.
That's supposed to.
I don't expect anything. I just
Me either.
yeah. I don't. I try to separate any kind of emotional response from
Same here.
whatever they're saying. It's how many times have we gone through this? It's like you can't emotionally like get ready. I can't go through that cycle. It's like it's like if they're going to do it, great. If not, but I'm not going to get worked up about it. I hope so. I honestly don't believe it though. Not when you're in this wartime mode and all the other propaganda that's going on. And if anything, it seems like it's gotten even more contained. At least last month or so.
Yeah, yeah, I'll agree with that. I don't have any real hopes that'll come out of this drop as though it's some sort of official. I mean, it'll acknowledge that yeah, something. I'll agree. I'll agree there. Okay, it might it might be the putting the foot in the water kind of stuff. I'm hoping that hey, this is some real shit, but they're still gonna have the same stance on that we don't know what the hell it is. They're not gonna give up the secrets that they have ships and recovered crash and their alien bodies, and they come here all the time, and we don't know where the fuck they're from, all that shit, you know.
Yeah, that would be giving up a lot. There's only a few countries that seem to be along those lines, oriented that way. Brazil, was it Ecuador? There's just a few. We've. I think what's happened to us is it's probably gone so deep into contractors and keeping it away from government officials via that method that uh, you're going to have a harder time finding it.
The thing is,
I believe,
I've come to this conclusion. They might have the recovered craft, they might even have the bodies, but what I don't think that they understand is I don't think they know where the fuck they come from. I don't.
yeah, unless you're. Well, I think that link with Jimmy Carter got some briefing. That we had even by then 1977 we had made contact. We
Yeah.
were in contact with aliens.
Hmm.
Now that even goes back to the 50s with Eisenhower, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so what are they telling us?
That's the thing.
They're telling us anything. Yeah.
I don't. when it comes to that kind of shit, to that kind of stuff in my own experiences with the paranormal, and I think it's all one big umbrella. It's not just one thing, it's a little bit of everything. It's just like people, they could tell you everything in the world and it just turns into a nothing burger, you know? Like the kids in Zimbabwe were told about nuclear disasters and all of that, and here we are 40 years later, and um, the aerial school in Zimbabwe, none of it happened, and they traumatized, like 200 school children, landing a UFO and talking to them,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what the. And there's some weird stuff, that's out there. Like they a lot of times, that you'll hear like these aliens, they'll pick up the people or they'll put some message about like stop destroying the world. At the same time, like you're like wondering like, are they just guessing? You know, it,
The I have to say the abduction experience to me is odd. I wouldn't.
I don't put
Maybe it comes from some wish that maybe some of us have to like leave the planet or go with them back to their planet. Along those lines. Maybe that's like where an abduction experience might make sense. I just it it, it's odd that if aliens were going to do that, that they would do it in a manner so that you wouldn't remember, because that's traumatizing. They if they're that smart, they would know that. Do whatever test you're going to do, but leave them alone. But they seem to like leave them in this state where they're poking on them and doing all this stuff, but they're still in like under some drug where you can like you're still aware what's
Yeah,
going
the
on.
whole abduction thing weirds me out. Like I'm not saying it's not real. It's just that there are
It's strange.
there
Yes.
are cases where it's real, and there's like de facto there's something going on, and that there are other cases where there are more aspects of out of body, um, something out of body going on.
Yeah, and that experience looks like paranormal. It seems like there's a few of these alien phenomenon events that go on that mimic or are very similar to paranormal,
Yeah,
uh, which I find interesting. It's just like, well, I don't know. That's why I guess you could call it a phenomenon. It's just not. It's not one thing. It's not like you're just seeing craft. That would be one thing. Okay, we just see these things, but and then that's it. No, it's like they mess with you. They you see them and then they stun you or whatever, or make you forget.
and
You
here's the
remember
thing.
but you forget it.
Here's like the weirdest thing that I've here's like the dumbest logic that I've ever heard. Um, um, about the whole them using our genetics and our DNA. If you're an advanced race and you can print stuff at the atomic scale, and your race is dying because you cannot reproduce, but you can create biological robots. How the fuck are you going to tell me that you don't understand genetics to the point where you can't make a fucking unicorn out of a strand of DNA and build your own
You
whatever the
can't
hell you
fix
want?
yourself. You can do all
Yeah,
these things, but you
it
can't
doesn't
fix
make any
yourself.
fucking sense. Yeah, it doesn't make
Yeah,
any fucking sense.
yeah,
Which, wh-
yeah. I have to agree. There is.
it doesn't make any fucking sense. Which, the only thing that I know that makes real sense out of this, that can kind of put it all together, is that my theory is that if everything is simulation, which there was another PhD, or no, another physicist that won a prize, kind of edging at the notion that it's all a simulation, would be that these aspects of the paranormal would be um, fully autonomous AI, sentient, NPCs that are used in some fashion to keep some sort of balance and control um, within the simulation. More like there is like a Have you ever played, was it Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, yeah, years
Uh,
ago, yeah.
yeah. Kind of like that. There are these autonomous systems that are AI sentient, but they are not. They are, you know what I mean? Did they grow up like us? Did they do this? I don't believe it. You know, there's just so much nonsense out there that would make more sense to me than some alien race traveling all the way to another planet because they're dying because they can't reproduce. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, no,
We're finding out that there for almost every sun there's a planet, at least one.
at least one. That's yeah, more than
And
one now. Yeah, the number
and we're
keeps
also
going up.
finding
Yeah,
out that a lot of them, it's like 1 out of 10 are in the habitable zone. You
yeah.
know, so
Yes, so you really shouldn't have to, and if you look at the numbers, you really shouldn't have to go more than like 10 light years to find one. Unless you're just in some odd spot where you're farther away. So there should be plenty of choices nearby.
well, there are and there aren't. So like they're really, when I say habitable zone, it's really kind of um, it depends on the stars. It's really the most popular star out there. The more predominant one is the red dwarf stars are the more predominant ones, which are more prone to flaring events, which would mean you'd probably have more if life is developed. They would be closer to the sun, but they would also probably be nocturnal or underground.
Yeah,
Um,
there's still a
but
way around that.
but still,
It's yeah,
it's just the whole Zeta Reticuli. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, it'd be more likely
it's
these things are interdimensional or some sort of autonomous.
I to me, well, to me, the interdimensional is even harder. That's like a phasing between universes. It, I'm still leaning, that they're traveling here, and if we put our head to it, you could see that hey, if there's planets around every star and so forth, and there's more than one.
Yeah,
Then if you're like coming into our solar system, look at all the choices you have. Man, you have ice planet, you got water, you got fuel on Titan. I mean, you have everything you need to refuel with. It may not be like the way you want to see it. Like, okay, there's not maybe not be another Earth there, but there's certainly all the options like we have in our solar system. So, that would be just make it a hopping point or a feeling point to get you to, the next spot, and then
oh,
the next spot until you
tomorrow's
do
disclosure
find
day.
the planet. It wouldn't be that hard. I really don't think it'd be that hard if we just set our mind to it.
Tomorrow's disclosure day. Apparently, to Anna Luna.
Oh man, on a Friday. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Friday's a bad day. That stuffs it into the weekend. That's when you hide things. Is Friday afternoons.
I I I I
But
I have zero faith. I'm sorry. I'm negative Nancy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be positive, but
yeah, I guess
uh,
my skepticism would say, well, if you can't balance a budget, you're there's a lot of other things you're not doing too, or
yeah.
not doing right and correct. So yeah, are we going to
This
get,
is like the part that doesn't that makes me pissed or like how stupid our our race is. Um, if we have ARVs and the technology, why the fuck are we using airplanes and gas-powered engines? I believe that the people that run these
uh,
programs are so fucking retarded. They don't know how to integrate it because they're worried about losing money rather than secrets. You know,
yeah. One side is the secrets and the hiding, so that stunts things. There's a
I
cost
don't
involved with
I don't
secrecy.
I think it has to do with money.
Oh yeah, no, that was the next thing. Yeah, now then it's the money because it's like it's like here, you see, the weed businesses are coming in. So what happens? Well, you got the tobacco and the alcohol people got to come up with their politics to try to interfere with you. And it's just like, why? Well, it's not really even a competing business necessarily. I would think, hey, you get a dry throat, you might even drink more. But what are these people doing with that? I don't even think they go into their they even research their shit right. But and which would go back to your retarded statement. Maybe they are retarded. They might be rich, but they're retarded, or they're just uh, they're scared that they're going to lose their business, or we got to protect our business, so we got to do all these things, and you really don't have to do anything. Just keep doing
Yeah,
what you're doing,
I
and
think
don't be so weird.
they're more worried about losing fictitious trillions of dollars.
Yeah, that may or may not be theirs, and
Yeah, I
that
could
if
see.
something happens, so we have
Hmm.
to intervene. It's just all a bunch of nonsense.
It would make more sense than anything else.
It just so there's that side of it too. There's all these competing. So there's many things keeping you from getting to even a reasonable life when you have these large corporations who don't want to lose their turf, and
There's
it's
also,
just
yeah, there's also some evidence that some of their tech has been leaked out to the public if this wasn't a one-off, but they're finding out, and I've saw this been watching quite a few um, shows recently, that there is a way to create thrust, or how should I say, it's not anti-gravity, but it's thrust through, not through through voltage, which in turn turns into mass reduction through through, what's it called? What are they using? Real low voltages through certain kinds of capacitors, which goes into that electric anti-gravitic properties. Um, and they don't believe this is like this is not a force that we're used to. This is probably some new force that they're discovering, because it's not behaving in a way that you would expect, something that's bending space or time. I mean, it has properties of it, but it's not all there. So I think the understanding that there is another force out there that we don't understand, that has to do around electrical gravitics, that can mimic a lot of those properties, but it's not the same thing. Um, is slowly getting out there in public, and one of them is being ran by a NASA scientist through a private company. Um, it's it it won't happen in my lifetime, I'll tell you that. But I'm just saying that that's just right around the corner. You know,
yeah. I'm surprised by how much is still unknown. Given the standard models and the things that we have. There's still all these anomalies and things we don't seem to know.
well,
Um,
I mean, because
um,
the standard model in
it's
physics really doesn't explain anything. It's trying to understand something that doesn't.
it doesn't get you there. That's what I find surprising about it. It's
Hmm.
like you have this model that doesn't seem to model so much of what you see, like dark
Yeah,
energy or dark matter, and it's just like, well, wait a minute, that's kind of weird. It's uh,
5 minutes.
what it was the oh yeah, it was this idea has been floating around, like that we're in this quantum soup, right? And you get these deviations that create these virtual particles, but they insisted forever that virtual particles were not real. That was just part of the math that we needed to calculate all this stuff. But they actually seem to have tied a quantum um fluctuation into a real particle response. So that means it's real, right?
Yeah, it's the same
It,
thing
it's
with.
just it. yeah, so that there's more going on. See, and if that's true, then that's your, another tie into some physics there because, if that's true, then there is more going on. Because then you can just create something out of the soup. You know, essentially out of nothing, out of a space time. Zero. There's not really a zero point.
Yeah.
There's enough fluctuations there, like an ocean. That you throw that wild wave. Speaking of which, when I was just down at the coast there, we were watching these waves, and like every now and then, how you get that a really big one coming in, even on like just normal activity.
Yeah.
It'll throw a giant one up there now, and you're like, man, that is really weird. Just
Yeah, we
uh,
have rogue waves have been a known thing throughout what do they call it? Rogue waves have been a known thing in sailing sailors, but when
you
they
know.
try, it's like the three body problem when they try to reproduce it with physics and they don't understand it.
So you have to kind of look at space like that. It's really a medium like an ocean that's fluctuating and waving, even though you don't see that. But in terms of the energy points, that's what's going on. That is going on. So and then if you can create particles out of that or interact with particles out of that, you know, that's like another force. See,
Yeah.
just a random force you can't even uh, how do you
As
characterize
do
that?
you
Yeah,
listen to that German lady Sabine?
hmm
She's a physicist, and she makes a lot of sense, but she has a bad attitude towards a lot of things. She calls a lot of stuff bullshit, and I think a lot of it is. But what we have is a lot of people that are thinking inside of the box and are using calculations as though they're de facto. Why not go out there
yeah.
and just go experiment? I understand that, it requires money for a lot of this stuff, but like this is how breakthroughs happen is by guys tinkering in their garage, you know?
Yeah, a theoretical physicist, they're guys just writing equations. They're math guys that just write equations on chalkboards all day, trying to come up with stuff. And hats off to them because that's a challenge to me. Like coming up with new theories and whatnot. I mean, that'll give you a
Uh,
headache.
she's
But
yelling at me. I might have to end this show. Um,
oh no!
yeah. So we'll be back uh the 21st.
All right,
All right, I'll see you then.
all
All
right,
right,
buddy.
bye. All right,
Take
bye.
care of yourself.
Bye.
All right, we'll see you.